Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Tyler here. Welcome back to Jack Fund Management. Aviation demand has only consistently grown since 1980, remaining on a steadfast trajectory. Howmet, ticker HWM, provides for this outsized demand as a supplier. They offer far more current growth prospects in this airline boom. They have multiple sources of sales, 49% from commercial, 19% from aerospace defense. They make an extremely well engine products, seamless rolled rings, and various structural parts. Mostly all of these use carbon steel, alloyed steel, tool steel, titanium, aluminum. All these materials in high demand, Howmet can retain pricing power. They have competitive advantage while they delight in a clear path to users like Lockheed Martin with F-35 jets. In a world with Biden, Palestine, and Israel, with such actors, said machines could get called upon whenever, showing zero signs of stopping. McDonald's will raise wages for 35,000 workers. Amazon will employ 75,000 new workers with wage raises and bonuses. Investors could remain on the lookout for more wage inflation. Government spending still gets paid for by more than half via deficit spending, while Chinese GDP can grow by US consumption, larger populace, and so on. Coinbase tied to crypto could have some volatility, and cryptograph exhaustion could affect Coinbase. They will work on Coinbase Cloud. That band DarkSide continues to hack, recently targeting Toshiba. This time getting minimal data, Biden proclaimed he will go after them to disrupt and prosecute. We will see, not holding our breath. Anyone who claims they do not care about the cost basis looks laughably off. Some have added and or entered more recently. The Coinbase reference price tricked a lot of novices and shows some underwriters often scam as usual. CDC removing more mask guidelines helps all cruise lines. Carnival Cruises, ticker CCL, affirmed it thinks it can start sailing from Florida. Planet Fitness, with 14.1 million members, gets a boon from this. Banking all held up very strong. Citibank, Morgan Stanley. On another telltale day, 517 had Tesla drop more. Media names soared. US Bancorp, ticker USB, has lending concentrated largely on lending to consumers. With the consumer stress easing, USB catches a big advantage by robust lending categories, like those of home and auto. They aim to distinguish themselves from more risk-on banks, targeting nook points like student refinancing. While consumer confidence steps up, US Bancorp follows lockstep. Blackstone, ticker BX, gets consistent management fees. They have low leverage and increasing cash flow, especially measured in CFO. They have a highly durable AUM. Morgan Stanley, a powerhouse in investment banking with footprint in growing Asia, has underwritten some deals such as Broadcom, ticker AVGO, Snapchat Inc., ticker SNAP, which recently popped big on breakthrough VR disclosures. Salesforce, and Google, to name a couple, all of which have results which speak for themselves. HireCar, ticker HYRE, hammered out a purely genius business model. We rarely feel that excited about any one individual business. This one sets itself apart. HireCar, a web-centric ride-sharing platform, permits users, car owners, to rent idle cars out for profit. Hire has raced to break even and soon profitability. Rapidly, they achieved this outstanding feat, a gem of a focal point, especially in this age of no-profit startups, a staggering differentiator. HireCar brilliantly has better cost metrics than all possible competitors. They navigated this 2020 pandemic coming out even more vigorous, with more than capable management, full of grit, showing tough leadership structure. If you'd like us to do a deeper dive on any company mentioned, leave a comment below and we will work on it. Although Warren Buffett has divested some in a once gigantic holding, Wells Fargo, ticker WFC, he likely has personal reasons. For us, though we, and pretty much everyone loves him, we disagree. Wells will profit from a Fed likely in a raising cycle. Wells, on an earnings call, noted implementation of efficiency measures, effectively cutting costs to expand margins. Federal Reserve officials will assist them in some governance improvements, thereby removing restrictions, unlocking further ability to grow. Interest rates tripled in only a couple of months, although they could steady. This path looks arranged. 2018, US 10-year hit around 3.25. Using a forward PE, WFC lands at about a very reasonable 13. Wells, has a far larger footprint with branches than Bank of America. As many stocks did not get much reception on earnings this past season, Wells jumped 10+% on Q1 publishings of this year. Shareholders of Wells look very optimistic. Semiconductor businesses like ADI vocalize some glee about shipment, back and above pre-pandemic levels. They advocate chips can help batteries and vehicles regulate range, addressing range anxiety. Google will permit anyone to work from anywhere for up to 4 weeks. With 3 billion people using Android, Google will focus on Lambda, language model for dialogue applications, and AI for further assistive features. Google and AI can do things like flag more urgent cases, for instance in mammographies, to aid in questions on how to build more sustainable batteries. Employee cost index could indicate a sticky inflation. Some consumer staples could have thinner margins, therefore harder to absorb wage inflation. Lesser restrictions help Cheesecake Factory, ticker CAKE. Off-premise sales and pickup, like for desserts, have added a newer, successful channel to this business model. Vigilant Technologies, ticker A, offers chromatography, a basically mixture separation laboratory technique, highly applicable and useful. Solutions, laboratory automation services, emission spectrometry, a wide array of life sciences, applied chemicals equipment. As normalization unfolds, a post-virus world starts to see a big rebound in growth lab schedules and budgets. Biotech has a legion of tailwinds, as does Agilent. Cell analysis, gene therapy, and editing all use instrumentation in which Agilent specializes. Smart instruments and robotically assisted procedures could look like themes in these upcoming years. Triple Qs remain an overcrowded trade, not really advantaged by easing guidelines. Pent-up demand evident for cruise lines, restaurants, and movies. Investors would do well to revisit thoughts of risk-reward. Red Robin, ticker RRGB, still offers tremendous risk-reward trade-offs. As some economies keep heating up, bulk shipping stays a blazing trend in high demand. 2020 stripped supply made to catch up, economies requiring iron ore, grain, coal. Fleet growth seriously lags. A double-digit PS ratio on some tech may not look very great. Some of that came a bit down. Evaluation came into focus. Not many mentioned a bear market, deficit of about 20+% on many names. Of course, they only mention when things go up. Bitcoin has pretty much crashed. Some multiple compression has happened. Investors may start to think, why would I choose to pay up per share? For what? And what do I even buy? Some timber analysts see a floor for lumber at $1,000. Forest products, for example, shipping boxes CEOs elocute about extremely long delivery times, plus trucking bottlenecks. Jobless claims fell. All signs point to a summer melt-up, even with mass requests at most retailers haven't gotten lifted. Coal's beating on top and bottom line estimates it as activist investors. Resting on laurels of a year coming off a pandemic bottom, they slipped quite a bit. Ralph Lauren disappointed investors on this earnings release. Demographic tailwinds still exist for housing, yet have drifted slightly. Gaming and Activision Blizzard remain strong. Investors keep watching Fed talking points, 10-year moves, scanning to see how this inflation story could play out, how transitory. Fisker plans to put out an SUV, Ocean, raised $1 billion plus. Tesla still gets driven by sentiment. China remains extremely restrictive. An Apple LG driven car could come out in 2024. Tesla may put out 1 million cars with luck, a minor player. Tesla, primarily Elon Musk, a bit of a politician, flip-flopping, keeps manipulating. Maybe he will switch professions to crypto day trader, since Tesla cannot make much profit on cars. Thank you all once more for joining us. Join us, join Jack next time.